Morning and happy Tuesday. Today we're going to be going over the May 19th portion of the distance learning packet where we're going to have some reading. You're going to read for 15 minutes and you can use a book of your own or one of the foldables or one of those really good online resources that you guys have found. We're also going to be reading a short article, Juice in Your Glass, where you're going to read the text aloud and then you're going to restate the juice making process and together visualize the juicing plant. So when we say restate the juice making process, you're going to sequence those events, like what happened first, what happened next, what happened last, in the order that it happened. For writing, you are going to, again, writing is tied into reading today. So after you restate the process of juice making, you're going to write the process in steps. Again, and I'll show you when we get there, but you're going to be doing like first, next, and finally, those steps to make the juice. And we're going to have a little bit of grammar and spelling where we're going over adjectives. And remember, adjectives describe a noun. And then last, we're going to have some math. We're going to start with the math task, and then we will end with a little bit of procedural practice. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the juice article you're going to read, and it is a procedural text. And what that means is it is explaining how to do something. So it's explaining it to you in the different steps. Okay, so you're going to read this, and then after you read it, you're going to discuss it with either a parent or a sibling and talk about the steps they took to make that juice. And that is tied in with our writing prompt today. So after you restate the process of juice making, so after you've talked about it with a sibling or a parent, then you're going to write the process in steps. And I kind of gave you a little outline here to follow. This would be your initial sentence. There are many steps you need to take to make orange juice. And then I gave you a little first, next, and finally as your transition sentences, as your transition starters here to write your sentence out. And then remember that your conclusion, it's always you're restating that topic sentence using different words. So as you can see, it's basically saying the same thing. I just changed up the words a little bit, where here it's saying there are many steps you need to take to make orange juice, and here for the conclusion, I put, these are all the steps you need to make orange juice. So again, it's basically saying the same thing. We just changed it up a little bit. So all you are going to need to do for writing is take those steps that you talked about, the process to make orange juice, and then you are going to fill them in. So what was the first step? What was this next step? And finally, what was that last step? And then if you fill in, you use this outline and you fill those in, you will write that, and that's going to give you 5 good sentences, and that's going to be a paragraph for writing today. Okay, and we are going to move on to our grammar and spelling where, like I said, we're going to work on adjectives today, and adjectives describe nouns. Adjectives can give information about color, number, size, and kind. In the phrase, the blue rug, the adjective blue tells the color of the noun. So the noun is rug. Remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. And then the adjective is what's going to describe the noun. So the noun is what is it, and the adjective is what about it. So we need, in the exercises today, we need to circle the adjective in each sentence, underline the noun or nouns it describes. So there are 10 today. I'm going to go over 5 with you. As you can see, I've already went through and underlined the nouns. So what we're going to do is go through and circle that adjective that describes that noun. So number 1, Olivia looked into her messy closet. Well, closet is the noun, that is a person, place, or thing. And what is describing that closet? It is messy. So we are going to circle. Going to circle messy. And then moving on to number 2, she was looking for her favorite shirt and pants. So the noun they're talking about in this sentence is shirt and pants. So if they were describing the shirt and pants, how would they describe it? Well, they were her favorite shirt and pants. So that is that adjective that is describing the shirt and pants. Number 3, Anya enjoys planting beautiful flowers in the garden. Well, here I underlined the noun flowers, and then we need to find that adjective that is describing those flowers. And if you said beautiful, you are right, because that is absolutely the adjective that is describing that noun. Number 4, Anne dislikes buying new clothes. Well, here the noun is clothes. And if we're looking for that word in this sentence that is describing the clothes, new is describing the clothes. So that is that adjective. And then the last one I'm going to go over today is number 5. Bryn thinks that the field is huge. Well, the noun is field. And which word in this sentence is describing the field? It is huge. And here it looks like they kind of tried to trick you because before all of the description words came before the noun, and this one, it came after. But just make sure that you're circling that adjective that describes the noun. So you're underlining the noun, and then what about the noun? Describing it, and you're going to circle that adjective. I would really like you to try 6 through 10 on your own. But if you do have any questions, reach out to me, and I will help you with those 5. So let's go ahead and move on to some math today. We have a math test and where we're going to work on multi-digit subtraction. We're kind of getting away from the addition now and where we were looking for the sum. And it looks like we're getting into multi-digit subtraction where we're going to be finding the difference. So where we're going to have some and then we're going to be taking some away, and we need to figure out how many are left. So I've kind of set up our problem here. Let's go ahead and read our word problem. Rachel has 148 blueberries. She gives 97 blueberries to her brother. How many blueberries does Rachel have left? And we see have left means we are looking for that difference. So you notice our subtraction symbol there. I've lined up the numbers. It's very similar to lining up the digits for addition where we're lining them up based on place value. Here I have 97. Do not get confused and put the 9 under the 1 because remember we have a ones and we have a tens. The ones go with the ones, the tens go with the tens. There is no 100 in 97, so that is going to stay blank. All right, let's go ahead and get started. If you remember those steps, we're going to start always starting with the ones column. So we have 8 minus 7. If you have 8 of something and you take 7 away, you are going to be left with 1. Okay, that was step 1. Step 2, we are going to move on to the tens column, where we're going to subtract if you have 4 of something and you're taking 9 away. Well, if you have 4 of something and someone wants to borrow 9, you don't have enough to give them, so you're going to have to go next door and borrow from your neighbor. But remember, when we borrow from our neighbor, we're going to cross that out. The 1 becomes a 0, but now the 4 is no longer a 4, it becomes a 14. So now we have 14 of something. Can we subtract 9 from 14? Yes. So remember, put 9 in your head, and then you're going to count on your fingers all the way up to 14, stopping when we get to 14. And then the difference is going to be what you have on your fingers. So let's go ahead and get started. Put 9 in your head, 9. Now counting on your fingers, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, stop. You should have 5 fingers held up, and the 5 goes under the tens. And again, the 1 became a 0 because if we borrowed from the 1, there's nothing left there. So we know that 148 minus 97 is 51. So we know that after Rachel gave her brother 97 blueberries, she has 51 blueberries left. Okay, that is the math task. Now we're going to move on to a little bit of procedural practice, where this is just a demonstration showing you how we're going to take apart hundreds to subtract. So I know we decomposed some numbers for addition. We're basically doing the same thing a little bit differently. We're still going to be decomposing numbers, but you decompose them a little bit different when you are subtracting. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take apart hundreds to subtract mentally. And remember, when you're doing mental math, you're able to just do it quickly in your head. That's like with the math facts. We know 2 minus 1 is 1. We're gonna subtract 401 from 9, or I'm sorry, you're gonna subtract 401 minus 97. So we have 401 and we're taking 97 away. We're gonna take apart 401 as 301 plus 100, since it's easier to subtract 97 from 100, because remember, we can count backwards. So here, if you look at the example, they broke apart 401, they broke it into 301, and then they broke it into 100. So they decomposed that into 2 different numbers. Well, now we're moving on to the next step. They're going to take the 100 and they're going to subtract that 97. Remember, if you count backwards, 100, 99, 98, 97, that gives us 3. We moved back on the number line 3 times. Well, now we're going to add that 3 to what's left of 401, we decomposed, which was the 301. So 301 plus 3 is 304. And that was an easier way of subtracting 401 minus 97 is 304. So you're breaking apart one of the numbers to make it easier to subtract. You can kind of subtract that mentally. So those are the steps that we're going to be taking. Let's try a couple together. I kind of already broke some of these apart just so that I can talk about it more. We're going to be subtracting number 1. So we're taking apart hundreds to subtract. With number 1, we're subtracting 300 minus 99. So I decompose that 300, and remember, we're taking apart hundreds. So one of them was automatically going to be 100. And then 300, breaking that apart, there's 100. That means there were 200 left, so that's what's going to go over here. Now, we're going to take the 100, and we're going to subtract it from the 99. So this is where I got the 100. That's where I got the 99. And 100 minus 99, remember, count backwards. If you have 100, 99, there is 1. Okay, so we're going to take that 1. The 1 is going to come down here. We're going to take what's left from the 300 and then 200 and add that 1 together, and we have 201. So that tells us that 300 minus 99 is 201. Moving on to number 2, I did the same thing. I already plugged in the numbers, but I will walk you through it, where we are going to find the difference of 422 minus 98, where we're decomposing 422. And remember, we're taking apart the 100. So over here, it's automatically going to be 100. So we took 100, and then what's left is a 322. And now we are going to subtract 98, that's where I got the 98, from the 100. So if we have 100 and we're counting backwards until we get to 98, we know we go 99, 98. That is 2 spots we were moving. So we know that if you took 98 away from 100, there's 2 left. And now we're going to take the 2. We're going to plug the 2 in here, and we are going to add that to what was left of the 422 after we decomposed it. So we have 322 plus 2, which gives us 324. So that lets us know that 422 minus 98 is 324. Okay, I'm going to walk you through number 3, and then I'm going to want you to try number 4 on your own. Just a little bit of practice there. For number 3, we are going to be finding the difference of 240 minus 99. So here we decompose that. We put 100 over here, and there was 140 left, so that's going to go over here. We're going to move our 100 down to the next line, where we're going to subtract 99 from it. Well, if you start at 100 and count back to 99, we know we are counting back 1 time. So the difference there, 100, take 99 away, is 1. So we're going to take 140, what's left of what we decomposed of 240, and we're going to add that 1, and that gives us 141. So that also tells us that 240 minus 99 is 141. Go ahead and try number 4 on your own. I'm only going to ask you to try number 4 on your own. That's what's left. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can either reach out to me on ClassTag or leave a message in the comment section below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and I will be back tomorrow. Goodbye.